This week, we've seen major publishers intentionally ruin Steam Deck support for their games. We'll investigate. And we'll talk about Xbox's major new announcements this week. Plus, what's Valve been up to with Steam Deck updates? All this and more today. Let's get into the gaming news. All right, Humble has a new bundle out, the Mind-Bending Masterpieces bundle, and it's a doozy in my book. You can pay what you want for the bundle, and you get 7 games if you pay at least $15. As with all bundles, a portion of it goes towards charity. Now, this bundle has a few of my favorite puzzle games, including Superliminal, The Talos Principle, The Witness, and many others. There are a few games I haven't played here, meaning the rest of them in the pack. Patrick's Parabox, Taiji, Manifold Garden, and The Pedestrian. I've heard a lot of good things about Manifold Garden, but I have not had a chance to play it yet. Now, you can use the link in the description or the pinned comment to pick one of these bundles up for yourself. Now, it's an affiliate link, so you'll be helping out the channel with no additional cost to you. And if you use that link, thank you. I'm not sure how I missed this, but last week Valve released the most played games on Steam Deck for the month of January. The top spot was occupied by Baldur's Gate 3. And then it was Pal World, followed up by a few of the usual suspects, including Elden Ring, Monster Hunter World, Cyberpunk 2077, Stardew Valley, Dave the Diver, Hogwarts Legacy, GTA 5, and Vampire Survivors. It's a fascinating list, and at the time that it was compiled, Pal World was the new hotness. Now, not so much. I mean, it seems like it was a bit of a fad, a bit of a meme, if you will. I mean, Pokemon with guns, am I right? They went from having the highest number of concurrent players in the history of Steam to having just a few 100,000. It will be interesting what February's list looks like, and I'm curious what you think about all this. Sound off in the comments. And while you're down there, why not like that smash button and get subscribed? I mean, it's the best way to tell YouTube that you want to see more videos like this. But if you're sick of being told what to watch by the arcane machinations of Google's unfathomable algorithmic elder gods, then you can seize control of your digital autonomy and get subscribed to my channel over on Subscribe to Me. It's the streaming site that I just launched, and it's powered by the generosity of my patrons. So head over to subscribето.me, and you can subscribe from Mastodon, from a PeerTube account that you might have, or even PixelFed, since Subscribe to Me is part of the Fediverse. And you can even use your favorite podcast app or RSS reader. I've even got videos from some other techie-minded creators over there. There was a lot of speculation about Microsoft's big announcement that was happening today, February 15th, as of recording. So Phil Spencer and the official Xbox Twitter account had announced that their new podcast episode was revealing the future of Xbox, and the games media, of course, being the hype-driven morons that they are, gave into speculation. Xbox is going to reveal that they are never releasing a hardware exclusive again, or they're going to retire the Xbox brand, or maybe even they're going to announce a handheld Xbox. Now that last one is what piqued my interest in watching this episode of their podcast, and truthfully, I waited to watch that episode before I recorded this video, just in case. But I mean, as I expected, it was an absolute nothing burger. Actually, it was even more of a nothing burger than I expected. Not only did they overly indulge in the typical corporate cult speak for most of the episode, but they actually only said like 2 interesting things. The first is that they're releasing 4 of their formerly exclusive games as multi-platform, and they didn't even say which games they were releasing. But they also said that they're working on new hardware. Now, I thought it was interesting because I read yesterday that Phil Spencer has said that the Xbox Brooklyn slides that got leaked a few weeks ago are not real, or are old plans for Xbox. But the fact here is that the analysts at multiple outlets were expecting major announcements from Xbox, as if like Microsoft would just casually drop an announcement of an Xbox handheld in a podcast episode, as if that's reasonable. Man, I mean, can you imagine though if they had actually announced a handheld Xbox console? I mean, it would actually have the potential to be a Steam Deck killer. You know, like what games media says every handheld PC is because it's got a faster CPU. I mean, can you imagine how much it would disappoint everyone because it's an Xbox and it would still suck once they get it into their hands? I mean, I don't know, dude. There's literally zero reason to buy an Xbox console. That's my opinion. Unless it's an original Xbox or a 360. So Electronic Arts has announced their plans to deploy their in-house anti-cheat solution for Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, and it will fundamentally break compatibility with the Steam Deck. According to their announcement, quote, "Over the past few months, we've identified an issue affecting our Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 PC players. As part of our ongoing effort to create a safe and fair experience for all of our players, we will be rolling out an update in March 2024 that will transition the game for PC over to EA Anti-Cheat. With this update, we will be ending support for Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 for PC on Windows 7, 8, and 8.1 operating systems. Additionally, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 will not run on the native SteamOS for Steam Deck with this update." Spelled Steam Deck one word for some reason. Now, I am sympathetic to their needs for creating a fair online experience for players. But I'm sorry, I think it should be criminal for game companies to roll out mandatory updates that render your games unplayable and leave players who bought the game multiple years ago with no choices. Like, they should be required by law to allow customers to launch the game without anti-cheat enabled if they want to. I mean, for God's sakes, Microsoft of all companies does this with Master Chief Collection. This is yet another reason to not buy games from AAA publishers, especially not companies like EA. I mean, we've all seen how well voting with your wallet actually works, right? I mean, it's completely ineffectual, and that's by design. But hey, at least this was announced a few weeks in advance, rather than what Capcom has been doing recently, where they just roll out a new update without notice and break games. Am I right, guys? I mean, feed the engagement algorithm and let me know your thoughts on EA's circus of shittiness. I'm eager to hear your take. Finally, let's talk about the flurry of updates over the last 2 weeks to the Steam Deck's beta channels. And yes, plural, channels. These include both the Steam client and SteamOS. Now, this could indicate that there is a new SteamOS just on the horizon, but only time will tell when it comes to Valve, honestly. So let's start with February 2nd, because we haven't really talked about any of the beta updates recently. Now, there are a bunch of changes to the client beta here, and it fixed a ton of issues with Screenshot Manager, transparency and blur effects in the header and the overlay, the graph height on the download page not working properly, and more. Then on the 6th, there was a fix for dialog menus and other pop-ups, as well as a Steam input fix for gyro calibration. On the 9th, there were fixes for some game news appearing out of order on the activity feed. They removed duplicate friend counters from game capsules. They added a privacy icon to your in-game status if you're in a private game. And then there was a new SteamOS preview. This fixed a bunch of HDR titles on the OLED model, and it also improved GPU crashes. And then on the 12th, they had a small SteamOS preview that improved performance for Persona 3 Reloaded's ray trace reflections. There was a client beta that hit on the 13th, and that included a fix for CD key pop-ups failing to display. They fixed some unnecessary disk reads that could impact performance, and they addressed some other stability concerns. And then on the 14th, they fixed a case where no element would be selected in the UI when closing the quick access menu, as well as an issue in desktop mode where mouse click input would stop working when starting a drag operation on a Steam window. So it looks like Valve has picked up the pace in the beta channels. I'd really like to see as many features added, but it is nice to see more stability work going on. And wow, I mean, there was a ton of news for a week that felt a little bit slow, huh? As usual, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I try to read as many as I can. And with that, I think that that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you to my patrons for supporting this show. Don't forget to get subscribed over on subscribe2.me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.